I said I wasn't going to tell nobody, but I couldn't keep it to myself. Let's get into 90 Day Fiancé the Other Way, Season 7. A sweet old auntie. Thank you, subscribers and my nieces and nephews. All of y'all who have been here through the long haul. Shall we get into it? Oh, yes, we shall. It's time for Auntie Advice. Sweet old. It's time for Auntie Advice. Oh, yeah. It's time for Auntie Advice. Hey there, everybody. It's your favorite auntie. Hoping everybody is having a great night tonight. Y'all, I said I wasn't going to cover this show. I did not cover this show. But I have been watching. And I had to kind of, take this back to church a little bit. Said I wasn't gonna tell nobody, but I couldn't keep it to myself. Oh, I couldn't keep it to myself. Oh, I couldn't keep it to myself. Let's get into this, shall we? Oh, yes, we shall. Before I do that, let me shout out my members who have come into the room. Hello there, Nathan, Tim, too. Hope you stay with us for the long haul tonight. Hey, boo. Hey, Dom, stay with us, honey, for the night. Let's get into it, okay? Hey there, Ray Della. Ray Della is our moderator. She said, welcome, cousins, ring that doorbell, which means hit that thumbs up and hype the video on your way into Auntie's house. Hey, everybody, y'all, I got to talk about this. Now, I had decided, as you all know, that hey, Sugar 40, hey, Sugar 4847, hey, boo. Hey, boo. Y'all, I just had to talk about this just real quick. I know the season is over and we're about to go into the tell all. I might say something if it's enough for me to laugh, gag, and drag off of them. I might cover that. I don't know. But I think that it's been good for me to take the break that I did take from this because I had gotten so frustrated with 90 Day Fiancé and all of the spin-off shows and stuff like that. I had gotten tired of the storylines, but there are a couple of people that I do want to cover since we at the end. Someone had asked me in the other video, what did I have on my lips? And I have Fenty Beauty on my lips. Okay, this is traced out. Let me see if you can see. It's traced out. And I don't know what the color is. I think it's something cherry. And then all I do is just line my lips with that. And then I put in the filler, which is it, which y'all seeing in the middle, is just the lip liner dragged out. And this color, and it comes in this little Fenty skin. This is called Barbados Cherry. And as you all can see, it is just a very small like tint, right? Because you look at the brush is still fairly white. It's just a tint, and you just take the liner, order it down, okay? And I'll make sure I put the link down in the chat. I do get a little smidget of a commission with it, right? But I'll make sure that I put it down there so that y'all can get something off of y'all order. They usually give you a percentage off when you order through YouTube's, or they, handle something else on the back end. I have a lot of girlfriends that come to my page just to buy their makeup to get the discount. Okay, so anyway, I'll make sure I put it downtown. You said you ordered the other lipstick. I hope you like it. I hope you liked it. Okay. Okay. Hey, Yolanda. Hey, boo. How are you? Hey, welcome. I'm hoping that you liked the video that I did Yesterday we're gonna be doing more. Make sure you put your vote in. Welcome, y'all. If y'all have not already done so, please welcome Mitchie Music, okay, to the membership. Y'all, please welcome them because y'all know how it was when y'all first came on board. So please shout out those welcomes, okay, if you will. I would show appreciate it, and so would Michi, okay. So look, y'all, I gotta cover a little bit of this. I'm just going to hit and miss like I usually do, right? Those couples that I'm not interested in, I won't have a lot to say about them. I know you probably want me to laugh, gag, and drag on all of them, but I won't be doing that. Okay, I'm going to do it just kind of like I did it last week. Thank y'all so much for y'all responses. Y'all was so excited that I was back and that I was covering it. But know that Auntie has been covering 90 Day Fiancé, the original from day one, A1. And so, to see where the show has turned to and all of that kind of stuff, it's just a little frustrating for me as a content creator, right? But anyway, I digress. I'm going to get into it. And I am going to show you the cast members as I cover them, right? And so who is the first couple that I want to drag and gag? This couple I was not interested in at all. Luke and Madelein, I think, were one of the things that really turned me away from this show. And it was because of the reckless talking to each other, in my opinion, the extreme abuse that was going on for Madelein. This guy could not catch a break. And I know that he had his flaws and all of that, right? But I just could not, I could not get into them at all. It was just too toxic for me. And when you living a clean life, a good life, a satisfying life, you don't want to bring that kind of energy into your household, into your spirit, man, because I truly believe in the spirit, man. And I think that you are affected by what you are seeing. And this couple was just way too toxic for me. And I mean, y'all, when I say too toxic for me, I mean they were too toxic for me. Every time you turned around, she was cussing him out and treating him, basically like he was, some trash out on the street. And I just couldn't do it, y'all. I just could not do it. I couldn't do it. The next couple that I'm going to laugh, gag, and drag on, let me share my screen, is Greta and Matthew. Now, I did watch, and I think I covered it at the very beginning when Greta and Matthew kind of got together and everything. And, she had spent her time. She had went out there. I think I covered it when she went out there and she was stinking and all of that kind of stuff. She got into the house and she was unsatisfied with, the effort that he had put in to making her feel welcome, to his home and stuff like that. And I have been watching over the season and I saw that Greta had, finally gotten to the point where she had told him, I just don't want to be with you anymore. And, he was devastated about it. It appeared that she was very wishy washy in the situation. It was untimely and it was unfair. But let me tell you something that I respected about Greta. She was there 4 days and she made her decision in 4 days. She did not drag it out like a lot of these couples do. She just was like, I can't do this. And I think that, as a woman and as a man, right? But specifically as a woman, when you know that this is not going to work, don't stay and hold out a relationship trying to please somebody else. I was very, very happy that she rolled up out of his parents' home, and she in limbo right now. She doesn't have a place, where she came from. She don't have a place there, but at least she does not have the burden of trying to carry this man, trying to carry this relationship, trying to act like she is into him and she's not, because what happens with that? It causes mistreatment. It causes her to be disrespectful, to be snappy with them. Women, we know how it is when we don't like a man. When we don't like you, we will treat you like trash on the bottom of our shoe. Same thing with men, right? But specifically for us, because I'm a woman and that's all I've ever been, okay? So I can only talk from that perspective. The longer you stay with somebody that you don't like, you're going to disrespect them, you're going to mistreat them. And one thing that a man wants more than anything is respect. If you listen to all the experts and stuff like that talk about dating, if you watch the dating and the couples that are around you, the couples that really make it are the couples where there is mutual respect and where a woman is not dragging a man in front of anybody. Greta had made a decision, whether it was 2 days or 4 days or 45 days, that she was no longer interested in being in this relationship with him. And I think that it may have been his effort, right? It may have been that she did not feel sexually compatible with him. It probably was a number of reasons, but she got rid of him on day 4, and that was good. Don't drag somebody out when you know it's not going to work, for someone like the dad to come and tell you that you need to try. When you know that it's over, it's just freaking over. And one thing about a woman, when it's over, it's over. We're not, most of the time, women, we're not going to play the games. I think that she was turned off by him, probably about, his inability to provide for her, to take her to that house. Remember, he had taken her to the house. She didn't like the house, and he was talking about kids and stuff like that, living beyond his means, because if he had the means to live like that, he would not be living with his parents. And for me, as a woman, that's a turn off. I'm not going to want to lay with you. I ain't going to want to stay with you. It just is what it is. And so I love the fact that she did not drag him on like a lot of these couples do on this freaking show, and what people do in their relationships with someone that they just absolutely know that they're just totally not interested in. Good job, Greta. I took my bra off to her. Matter of fact, I popped my strap for her and everything, because I was like, you do what you got to do. Don't let nobody try to count your days. You know whether or not you're going to be happy with him. This couple right here is just some trash. Anthony and Manon, I think that they are acting this whole entire thing. I think that it is an insult to my intelligence for me to even cover the foolishness that this woman has got carrying on. When I saw her about a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, sitting up there hyperventilating in her own place, in her own town, I was like, I just ain't got to I don't understand how people even cover her, how they feed into the fool la la. She's an actress and she's a bad one at that. And I just don't like her, like point blank and period, even as a person at all. I think that what she said to the sister, that she is not interested in him, is the truth. And I think that she needed to get him away from the family. And you would just say, thanks, Auntie. I purchased the bittersweet and I love it. Thanks. I love the color you have on this evening. I just did that, and I'll put a link down there for you to get it, okay? They were just a waste of my time, and they're a joke. And it's just certain things that I have realized that I just ain't got it to do. And when I say I don't have it to do, that's exactly what I mean. I don't have it to do with that couple, to even cover them, to even waste my freaking time with them. I ain't got it to do. The next couple that we getting ready to talk about is Chloe and Johnny. Now, this was a hot. Now, this right here was a mess. The two of them were never, ever on the same page. Never. She had a young girl's idea of living in Aruba. She wanted the fantasy of the islands. She wanted all of that. He wanted to fulfill that fantasy, but he knew he won't no good. And at the end of the day, so did she. I remember watching it from maybe episode 1 or 2, or 2 or 3, when her and her girlfriends was hiding in a bush, watching him as he was out on the street. I mean, on a boat. And I was like, girl, you already know what this is. Her mama told her what it is. She knew what it is. She knew he was cheating. She knew he was a cheater. She knew that he wasn't about anything but getting down one of those girls on the ship. But she wanted to be in Aruba. She wanted to, put her flagpole in the sand and say, this is a second home for me. She kept pushing this guy to like do this paperwork and all of that kind of stuff in order for her to be there. Thank you so much, boo. Thank you. And I thought I saw somebody that came in here. Oh, welcome, Nation. Is it Nation E 9650? Welcome, boo. I probably jacked your name up, but okay. Welcome. She had a fantasy of being in Aruba with a man that she knew could not be faithful to her. He said that he wanted, and you know what, y'all may get offended, but I say the stuff that don't nobody else want to say. I say the stuff that's just right on the line. But I'll be speaking from my gut and from experience. He wanted a white blonde headed girl to come over there, clean his apartment, and play mama and girlfriend to him at the same time. The audacity of him to think that I'm coming over there and the only thing that I'm good enough to do is wash his dishes and clean his house. It's a wonder he didn't have her with an apron on or some type of waitress outfit. He treated this girl like she was on the bottom of his shoe. And every time you turned around, he had an excuse for treating her like she was. I don't care how young she is. I don't care how immature she is. I don't care. I don't care. A woman that loves a man and feels secure in a relationship will get herself together. That's my opinion, and I'm entitled to it. You put yours down in the chat. If this girl even thought for 1 minute that he was worthy of who she was, she would have stepped up her game. We all have been young and in relationships. She would have stepped her game up. But every time you was turning around, she had to question his motives. She had to question who she was. What's going to make you get up? You think about you. We ain't talking about her and we ain't talking about me. We talking about you. Imagine you getting up every morning and you questioning this man. You think you going to motivate yourself to want to clean his house to win him over? When everything that he's doing, you got that sixth sense that's saying something ain't right about this. Don't give your all. Now, I ain't saying that the girl won't trifling. I'm not saying that she wasn't lazy. I'm not saying that she just didn't have it in her to do. I doubt it, but but I'll give you that if that's what you need in order to feel good and everything and feel like you was right all season about your assessment and maybe Auntie's wrong. That's fair. Fair exchange ain't no robbery. You share your thoughts, I share mine. But even if she was immature, she would have stepped up to the game. We all have had a boyfriend or something that caused us to internalize ourselves and look at ourselves and say, I need to step my game up. Same thing with men. When they get a woman who is phenomenal, they will step their game up for that woman and be the best man that they never thought that they could be. But when you sitting there and you're in a relationship and you're unstable about where you are with this person, yeah, you're going to be sneaking around and looking. But one thing about it is, if you sneak around and look, you shall find. The Bible even say that. If you seek, you're going to find. If you knock, the door going to be open. I think he laid booby traps because he was tired of her. Don't no man walk out no house that's cheating with a phone left there. If you cheating and you ain't trying to get caught, your cell phone gonna have be sitting up on your daggone kid with Velcro on it. Every time you turn around, he gonna be it off and back on. He, a man or a woman that's cheating, is never going to let this little database that we happen to be able to call people on be out of their sight unless they got a reason to. He wanted her to find that information out because he got tired of playing the game with her. He wanted to be the dog catcher. He wanted to be the one that feeds the dog. He wanted to be the one to he wanted to run his own shop. He got tired of her being there. He got tired of it. The fantasy of what he, first of all, the fantasy started leaving when her roots started showing. When them black roots started showing and was popping out, and she was pulling the curtain back on this fantasy that he had about being with her, he was done in. All the fantasies that he was living. I know y'all ain't ready for this y'all not ready for this kind of conversation. Y'all not ready for this kind of conversation. I could just feel it. I can feel it. I ain't got my glasses on. I'm purposely not looking at the chat. Y'all ain't ready for this level of conversation. Y'all ain't ready for this. When the fantasy of being with this bleach blonde haired girl started leaving, when them black roots started showing, he was like, she ain't blonde, she a brunette. All the fantasy of who she was, this American blonde haired bombshell, realities snuck right in there on him. And he was like, she ain't even what I want. She ain't even authentic. All this little white powdery hair is in a bottle that she shake once a month to cover up her roots. She don't have nothing outside of her mama. And her mama done basically came down here and told me that she gonna cut the finances off for not only me. She ain't gonna pay none of my bills, but she gonna cut them off for her daughter. Unless and until I go to America, which is not where I want to be. He learned very quickly. When that mama came out there, y'all didn't notice how quickly downhill everything went? The fantasy of who she was gone. The mother said, no, I'm pulling everything back. I'm not financing this. And that's when he realized, I'm going to treat her like, and then she doesn't have the maturity, and neither does her friends, to keep their mouth shut about the things that she discussed with them. I wish one of my grown girlfriends would go back and have a private conversation with me, and then let it leak out at a table, at a bar, in a bedroom, on a sofa, on a ship, on a beach, bitch sitting on a rock. I wish one of my girlfriends would. What I talk to you about my man, You ain't gonna go back and be in his face throwing it up. Because if I was ready to have the conversation with him, I would have told him. And as a matter of fact, I've been trying to have a conversation with him, but he's in the denial stage. So I believe that he left breadcrumbs, that cell phone, so that she can find it and get the fuck out of Aruba. You ain't gonna tell me no different. Because he got sloppy with the cell phone, sloppy with the passcode on it. Who don't have a passcode on their phone? Sloppy with leaving text message, sloppy with this, sloppy with that. A man that don't want to be caught, you have to hire a private investigator to find out what's going on. Unless you just that good and you 2 steps ahead of them. And then when she sits there and talks to him about it, you crying. Let me tell y'all something. I will color purple all of y'all. If I ever find or get a whiff that you sitting up there having a breakup conversation and you crying, you better man up. You better put your feet on the ground and call them all kinds of MFers, you son of a... You don't sit up there and cry. Crying is for the pillow. You'll stand up in front of some low-life trifling man that ain't doing nothing but swinging off of a ship all day. Yeah, he making an honest pay, but okay. That's all we giving him credit for. You don't sit up in no man's face and cry. I don't care if you got to do a backflip and a split and you got to spit out the window. You don't sit up in no man's face like that and cry. You don't ever let him see you cry. If you feel like you about to cry, you walk out. And matter of fact, you don't even know him a conversation or an argument. I thought that was stupid of her to stand there and try to explain to a man who looks at her like he has such disdain for her. He didn't have a drop of love, compassion, empathy, or nothing in his heart when he called her a no good so-and-so. You ain't washed the dishes in here. You didn't do that. What kind of man want to be with a woman like you? And that, let me tell you something. That crap will lead into another relationship. If you think that you can just blow off those kind of words, let me tell you something, honey. The heavens and the earth. Let me cut this heat down because I'm getting hot now. The heavens and the earth were created with what? Words. God said, let there be light, and there was light. Let there be water, there was water. Let the firmaments be separated. There was clouds and then the water at the bottom. He created man and everything in this earth with his mouth. So don't ever let nobody tell you that words will not hurt you. Words are what creates everything. They land in your heart. She will have to forever, since she allowed that conversation to happen, she will forever be trying to get them words up off of her. Let me tell you, I'm telling you some good stuff. You don't let nobody put no words on you and just be sitting up there talking about you, degrading you, and making you lack confidence in your own self. You get the fuck up out of there. I'm coming to get my stuff, no conversation. Matter of fact, she should have sent somebody else to go get one of her girlfriends that's running their mouth should have went and got it. Then she go up in there and he tell her, I ain't trying to make an excuse for the bullshit that I took you through, but I'm going to make excuses and say I'm a man. And I like women. and I don't like you, and I don't want to be with you. And she's standing up there with her mouth hung open. I'd have bust him in his mouth. I don't want to have a conversation with you with none of this. I would have had somebody come get my stuff, and then he gonna further degrade her. He gonna really stick the knife in and tell her she left some earrings. He knew that wasn't her earrings. A man know your style. He know what's yours and what ain't yours. That was him sticking the knife in and turning it. For her to go in a bathroom and find another woman's earrings was him spitting on her, basically, in my opinion. Letting her know not only did I cheat on you, but I cheated in the same bed you laid in. Piece of mother. Sorry. He made an excuse for everything because she didn't turn out to be who she wanted, who he wanted. He wanted her and her mama's money. That's why you don't tell nobody what you got. You don't tell them your investments. You don't tell them about your money market accounts. You don't tell him about your trust. You don't tell him how much real estate you own. You don't tell him how many cars you drive. It ain't none of his business. He had no intention of marrying that girl. And he talked to her like she was nothing. Absolutely nothing. He had no compassion for her. But the good thing about it is that there is a God who sits high and he looks low. He looks down at the lowest of the lowest. And that's who he was to me. Johnny is the lowest of the low. To know that she's young and immature and treat her that way, unexcusable. But you reap what you sow. There will be an opportunity for him to feel the same exact way. Matter of fact, when a seed goes into the ground, it doesn't come up singular. When a seed goes into the ground, it spreads its roots. Some roots from the north to the south, some from the east to the west, some deep roots and some shallow, but roots nonetheless. And there will be a harvest. And I'm going to pay back for everything he did to that girl with his old sorry. He ain't about nothing. But she had to find out. And I'm hoping that she gets over everything. Yeah, I'm a girl's girl. At the end of the day, I'm rooting for the women. I love my men too, but I'm rooting for the women. That was despicable. And even if you ain't like her, you got to feel some compassion. These two are too old to be acting like this. Jenny, if you don't take your raggedy $600 a month Social Security ass back to the United States, you better. You sitting up there living in that goddamn woman's house for the second time in your life, and you acting like you can't take it and you can't tolerate it, and he's got Sumit got to do something to get you to fuck up out of there. You've been over here for how many years now? 20 years at least, living in another country, and you don't even know the language. I bet you don't even know how to go to the grocery store on your own. And you sitting up in there. That's how you met him. Remember, Jenny? You met him when you was living up in his mother's house. And now you mad because of mother calling you fat and telling your lazy ass to get up and do something. Let me walk. I'll be right back. Let me just walk over here real quick because Jenny gonna make me cuss her all the way out. And I just ain't trying to be cussing nobody all the way out because I got one more video I got to do tonight. Done made my bathrobe fall all down on the floor. Oh, stank. Oh, dumb. Hi, everybody. Jenny, y'all ain't got nothing because you ain't did nothing to get nothing. You can't even work in the store and make coffee. You ain't did nothing but speak negative over that store and everything in it. The people sitting out there trying to have a good grand opening and give stuff out, and you in there complaining about the money that's going up in the house. What did you contribute towards the store? You ain't did nothing to help this family or your husband. Because if you had it, you'd have got a job by now. But this is what you wanted. You wanted to be an old ass hag and marry this young man who's stuck up under his mother and always has been and always will be. But you ain't did nothing to have any independence in that country. Now I know it's probably they treat women differently, but you could at least had a job and know how to go to the grocery store and pick a good banana when you see one. You're useless and worthless in this family, in this community called a family. That's my opinion. I'm not saying you useless and worthless as a human being, but in this community of this family, all you do is month and complain. And the moment somebody asks you to do something, other than sit on the floor and make flowers, and you couldn't even do that right. When they had the daggone housewarming party, they tell you to go down there and make flowers, and you writing Jenny and Sumit, Jenny plus Sumit. Girl, let me tell you, them little la days writing down, do you like me, and passing a note through the classroom, and he couldn't check yes or no. Them days is gone, Jenny. Grow up! Grow up! Grow up! You was the one that was laying up in his mother's house with her son. They didn't like you because you came over there with your dumb. The Sumit catfish you from day A, and you decided to stay there. You moved him from his mom and daddy house because you couldn't face his mama because you were sleeping with her son up underneath her roof. So you had to move out. You find out that he got a wife. You submit so bad. Submit father pays. The family's embarrassed. The mother name getting dragged around the family. Don't nobody want to be around your dumb, ignorant. Nobody. But the mother finally then came around. You ain't got to kiss her butt, but you need to respect her because you feel like I'm 60, she in her 60s, 70s, and I can say what I want to say, and I'm a grown woman and I can do a grown woman. Let me tell you what make a grown woman. And it's just some little chump change, y'all, that I be just like keeping for the okay, because Auntie got papers, trust me and believe me, she do. But a grown woman, got her own paper. She takes care of herself. Whether it's in pesos, American dollars, what's the other currency? I don't care what currency it is. A grown woman got something she can tuck in her bra. That's what a grown woman got. A grown woman take care of herself, whether or not that man can or not. She gonna always make sure she have. She can thank you, boo, euros. Thank you, boo. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Y'all give me some other numbers. Give me some. Okay, Dom said Bitcoin. Okay, yeah. A grown woman don't sit over there and tell somebody she leaving, but she don't know how she leaving. A grown woman don't be in another country and can't speak the language. Always got to be getting an interpreter from your husband. How long you been out there, Jenny? How long you been messing with this man? And you sit up there living in the country and don't know how to do nothing but spin. This man, even though he wrong. Now, trust me and believe me, he wrong. But both of y'all messed up the bag. Y'all messed the bag up. So you ain't got no other choice but to live with him. So shut the up. Shut up. That's your problem. Thank you, Ray Dollar. Thank you, Veronica. You messed up the real piece. You ain't got none. You getting a social security check. When we first met you and you decided to go over there and quit your job, you was getting $600 a month. Thank you, Jan. Jan said pesos. Hey, boo, welcome in. And you gonna sit up there and go to a park with him and tell him, I can't. Then don't. How about you don't? Get on the first thing smoking out this month. Or do you got the money to do it? And you going to sit up there and act like an immature 16-year-old. We can't have sex in the house. We can't even have sex in the house. I don't remember the last time that we had one. Go down to the hotel. Give him some rupees, some Indian rupees. Give him some pesos. Give him some American coin. Any currency is they'll take it. Go in there and pay for the day. He was doing that anyway when he was sitting up there acting like he was, in IT and he was a telemarketer selling used cell phones. And you talk about what you can't do, but you ain't got nothing. You ain't bringing nothing to the table. Like I said, you can't even work a coffee maker. And then a father took and gave you change, and you gave all the money back to the people, plus the product. Jenny, if you don't sit your goose, we need to. You're lucky it wasn't my family because you'd have been outside on your ass. You're ungrateful. You sit there and talk to the mother disrespectful. And a woman worth her salt in the earth knows how to talk to someone without challenging them and going toe to toe. Shut up. That's all you know how to do is run your mouth. You get in the car. Sumit tells you, I sacrifice for you. Y'all both sacrificed, right? Because he did blindside you, when they came all running up in the house like that. But that was your chance to leave. But you was determined you was going to have Sumit. This is what come with having Sumit. These Indian people, right, in their culture and in other cultures as well, families stay together. They buy houses, they buy land. I'm trying to buy something for my daughter or put some on my property for my daughter to make sure that she is taken care of for the rest of her life. Do I want her to branch out and do her own thing? Yeah, but I need to teach her how to gain wealth. You don't gain wealth by having an apartment. You ain't doing nothing but taking money and throwing it out the window every month. Everybody handles things different and every culture is different. And from the people that I know, they stay with their parents. Not all of them, but they do it until they could gain wealth. And when you realize that, you realize that. But all you thinking about is being on the D and not having the privacy and not being able to hoard clothing, not being able to go to the mall. Every time we see you on Instagram, you and Sumit at the mall. Well, now he ain't got no money. You say it was his responsibility to keep the house. It was you all's responsibility to keep the house. As Sumit said, now my mother like you, and now you gonna mess it up. This how you gonna carry it, Jenny? Now, being a 60-year-old woman, you ought to have your own privacy in your own place. But if you did not bargain for it, if you did not save for it, if you did not create revenue outside a 90-day fiance, then you got to take ownership. A relationship is 100% of me, 100% of you. Sumit want to be with his mother. You married a man that you knew wanted to be with his mother. Do I want to be with a man that want to be with his mother? Hell no. Because I don't need mama to tell me what to do. I don't need to be in mama's house washing mama's dishes. But I can tell you this. If I was in mama's house, she wouldn't have to lift a finger because I would contribute to the household. That's me. That's how I was raised up. My mama didn't do dishes. She didn't clean the rooms in the house except for her own. She did not do all of that. She had children who did that for her. And if my mama could magically one day come back, I would do everything she needed me to do. I would damn near live there. Because once you lose your mama, you ain't gonna never ever have one to replace her. That's if you had a good mother. And I know everybody isn't fortunate enough to do it. But Sumit said, we ain't got nothing. She said, well, Sumit, let me tell you something. You gonna be the one. Now I want to leave, not you. But I'm gonna make it your responsibility because I'm so lazy and so incompetent and I don't know about the culture. I never intertwine myself in the culture. Now it's your responsibility to find me a place. Jenny, get out of there. Leave. You're miserable and you making everybody else miserable. Shut up. Matter of fact, if you gonna move, you move in silence. You don't tell your left hand what your right hand is doing. The mother barely like you. I don't believe she like you. I believe she tolerates you. And I believe that Jenny knows she's being tolerated and not celebrated. And I'm sure that that's uncomfortable for Jenny. But get the out that woman's house. The way that she had her, I saw it a couple of episodes ago, and I just was skimming through it, right? I wasn't looking at it for no content, especially since I knew I didn't have to review. And I saw that mother sitting out there on that grass crying. I'd have bust her in her eye. Matter of fact, if one of my brothers and sisters would have been able to get to her first, Jenny would have got. I don't care how loud and wrong my mother is. Jenny and I will have to manage that and talk about that. And I will be the one having a conversation with my mother. You ain't gonna sit up in my mother's face and disrespect my mother. Like we just ain't we ain't gonna do it. We ain't gonna do it. I got my mama. And maybe if Jenny knew how to talk to Sumit, and how to submit under submit, because she's not submissive. And you ain't got to be all the way, you ain't got to be no maid and no slave to a man, but you do need to submit under his. I don't really want to get in the conversation, but I do believe that a woman should submit. I think that she needs to get up underneath her husband's leadership. And if she can't get under her husband's leadership and she don't have respect for him, she need to end the relationship. Now, I ain't going to be a servant to my man, but I will submit and I will respect his leadership. And Jenny doesn't. She never has. There have been times when Jenny has put her hands on this man. She jumps up in his face with her big ass hands. She got the biggest man's hands. I think her hands are the size of two men's hands. She need to be hammering some wood and stuff together and making a goddamn house. Hey, Sawada. Hey, boo. And you know what? You may be right about that, but guess what she need to do? She need to help build that in him. She don't have nothing even. She don't even know the language. She been living over there for years. And maybe she rejected the leadership that he had because he did have enough leadership to put her in a place. For what, 6, 7 years? He got some. Big old hands that she ain't doing nothing with them. But she wouldn't disrespect my mother. We ain't got that to do. We can have a conversation and not be disrespectful. And that just shows me or gives me the opinion that Jenny ain't all together here. I ain't never think Jenny was all together here. Get out that woman's house. You don't like it? Leave. Bye. You need a map? Kick rocks. Go on about your business. Bye. But you ain't gonna disrespect my mother. There is a way to do and handle everything. And Jenny is out of line, in my opinion. So, like I said, I told nobody. I said I wasn't gonna tell nobody, but I couldn't keep this to myself. These are my opinions about the show. Y'all let me know what y'all's is downtown in the comment section. Thank you to all of the 1,000, over 1,000 people who are in the chat. I appreciate y'all. And I love y'all. Don't take nothing offensive. Don't make this about y'all, right? Because we're just talking about the show. But I appreciate y'all. Let me make sure I covered all these couples. Did I cover all these couples? Let me make sure. Jenny and Sumit, Greta and Matthew, Chloe and Johnny, Manon and Anthony. I ain't even got the time to do it with them. I ain't got the time to do it with them. But it was another couple, y'all. It's another couple. What's the girl's name that's with the guy out in Australia? Patia and Dylan. He don't care nothing about her. Him and his mother is in cahoots. And he's just one abusive man. He switches on this woman left and right. He thinks she's a whore and he treats her like a whore. That is the type of, and I can't remember what they call that level of abuse. Let me bring them up. But this man don't care nothing about this woman. I don't know why he's keeping her around. I don't know why he's playing the games with her. But the thing that he says to her, And the way she got to fight for just a little bit of attention and to get his mother to stand down, he don't care nothing about her. But he sat up there and told her what you be doing afterwards, and I know you be with the, and she sitting up there crying and whining and sounding like a mouse caught in a mouse trap. She took an engagement ring from him for what? For what? I don't understand his purpose for holding on to her, but he is. This is the kind of mofo that'll tell you he's building a bridge and he ain't even built. He's so abusive with his mouth. He don't care nothing. He's the type of guy that will say he's sorry later, pat you up, buy you something, and have you in the cycle over and over. Period. Anyway, I love y'all. Y'all, thank y'all so much for being here. Let me know downtown in the comments section what you all think about it. I really do appreciate the 1,200 of y'all who are in the chat. Go ahead on and give me a like, a comment, and hype the video. Until we meet again, y'all be safe in the street and in the water. Bye, y'all.